Hi, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and today I'm on the Elizabeth Craft Designs blog with a fun Galaxy background Father's Day card using Distress Resist Spray, Distress Inks, and a really cool die set from Elizabeth Craft Designs. So here's the Distress Resist Spray, and I have a piece of 5x7 inch cold pressed watercolor paper in this box. Now you do want to spray Distress Resist Spray in a confined area. It does spray far, kind of like it has a large spray. It'll get on anything that you spray it near, and it's permanent and impossible to get off. So that's why I have it in a box with some scratch paper around it. And what I wanted to do is get a bunch of sort of fine mist spray and then a little slightly larger spray, and then I let that dry, and it dries clear and glossy. A little tough to see in the video, but hopefully you can tell. Now I'm taking my Distress inks and a blending tool. This is mustard seed, and I'm just kind of splotching on some ink in random areas to create the sort of colored look of galaxies in space. So I'm trying to be kind of random and spread the color around in a way that will create an interesting visual pattern. A lot of this is going to get covered up. This is cracked pistachio. The first color is mustard seed, then I used carved pumpkin. This is cracked pistachio that I'm also kind of randomly adding. Then I will add some twisted citron on top of that. So I'm kind of combining light colors together to get that, like green and orangey yellow looking galaxy appearance that you see in some of like Hubble telescope photos. And then I'm going to fill in a lot of the rest of the space with shaded lilac here. And I'm going to go back and add some more mustard seed just to kind of lighten up the orange areas. And now I'm taking my Distress Resist spray and I've pulled out the spray nozzle and I'm dripping the spray onto the watercolor paper in large droplets, as you can see. And you can even like just touch it right to the paper to get like a big splotch. Because I wanted to have some larger areas that were going to stay the color that I've colored with the Distress ink under it. And I've obviously allowed that to dry as well, so it again dries clear, and you can see those a little bit better. And now I'm going to start darkening down the whole thing, so it's going to start to look like space. So my first dark color is chipped sapphire, and I'm just kind of going around and around and filling in. And then this is dusty concord, and you can see I kind of start to overlap those colored areas. Some of them get covered up a lot more than others, to kind of tone them down and give it that more like space look and that sort of wispy edge that you often see. And that is black soot that I'm using now. Now the watercolor paper I used was really, really cheap and really, really heavily textured. And then you can see hopefully you can tell in the middle section, I really sprayed the heck out of that. So there's a lot of tiny drops of the resist spray that hopefully you can tell now is really like not letting me fill in with color. So you can see how the resist spray is creating the star look, and then as I wipe it off with a paper towel, you get it even more. And so I'm taking obviously the ink direct to the paper. This is Dusty Concord now, to really, really darken it down. And again, you can tell sort of that overlapping a little bit of the colored sections. The colored sections are becoming a lot smaller than they were originally, but it does give you that kind of galaxy look if you get that fuzzy edge around them. And so again, black soot there and just rubbing it off with a paper towel. And you can see how it comes off the Distress spray, and the Distress spray really creates that galaxy look with the stars. And the different sizes of splotches is what creates the different looks of, like, I don't know, stars that are closer, stars that are far away. So there I'm going again with some black soot. So it's kind of just a matter of layering color over and over, especially to get it dark enough. And now I'm going to take a paper towel, or no, I'm sorry, a baby wipe that is damp, and I'm blotting it off of the Distress spray. And now you can really see how the color is coming off. And so where I sprayed it originally, it stays white, and then when I splotched over it after I'd colored it, those stay the colors. And you have to be careful because the distress ink will come off with water. So I'm just trying to be real light-handed with the baby wipe. And then I've got a paper towel again. But I'm just using the baby wipe in any area that seems like too dark. And that is my completed galaxy. Pretty cool and really, really easy, especially with that Distress Resist spray. For my card components, I'm using Happy Father's and Day die cut out of the Words 3 Happy Holidays die set from Elizabeth Craft Designs. Die cut that out of some gold mirror cardstock. Then I have the second largest die in the Stitched Rectangles die set cut from some 85-pound white soft finish cardstock. I've got an A7 sized black card base, so that's 5x7. And then this is the main die set. So the words are die cut out of the black, super detailed. The solid watch base is cut out of gold. The chain and the watch hands are die cut out of black cardstock. And then I have two of the detailed layer, one out of 85-pound white soft finish cardstock and one out of black. I've trimmed my galaxy panel down to 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. And then I've punched out 1 star and 2 small hearts with these little hand punches out of gold cardstock. Now I'm going to piece together my watch by combining the two detailed layers. So I'm trimming out the watch face from the white piece and just trimming off the edges to make sure it's a good circle. And then I'm going to trim out the body, I guess, or the sides from the black cardstock piece. And there's these little notches that hold them together like little tabs, so it's super easy to trim out. Just make sure that you get your where you cut it like nice and rounded so it doesn't look too obvious that you trimmed something out, which is obviously what I had to do there. And then the little winding knob handle piece, I'm not sure what that's called, I did trim that off the black as well. So I'm going to adhere these pieces together using my Zig 2A glue pen. The Zig 2A glue pen worked just fine on the paper pieces, like sticking these all together, but it did not work so well when I had to adhere everything down to the watercolor cardstock. Because that was really, really textured, and I think maybe because of the cheap quality of it, it just didn't want to take the adhesive. So if, like me, you have some kind of cheap cold press watercolor paper, you may run into that problem. So I would suggest using like a liquid adhesive, more that's heavier duty, like, I don't know, Art Institute glitter glue or something like that. Now my watch hands, I'm adhering down to 6/17 because here in the US that means June 17th. That is Father's Day here, so that's what I'm using as my time on the clock. You could obviously use a birth date or an anniversary depending on how you wanted to use the clock face. I thought it was kind of cute. Then on the inside of my card, I am adhering the stitched rectangle piece into the middle so I can write a message, and then I'm going to adhere the Happy Father's and Day using my Zig 2A glue pen in sort of like the upper half of that area. Now obviously this card can work for other occasions and other events, so you could change the greeting out very easily to Happy Birthday or Happy Anniversary, or, you know, an encouragement kind of message or something. Anything to change up the theme. Now I'm using 10mm adhesive to adhere the galaxy panel to the front of the card. That worked amazing to hold that watercolor paper down to the cardstock. And now I'm going to adhere down my components as you sort of see them there on the left. Here's where I'm using my Zig 2A glue pen to adhere the letters down. Very, very detailed. And I think I just didn't have enough, I couldn't be fast enough to get them in place, to get them to really stick to that background paper. But I did get it to work eventually, don't worry. But my suggestion would be try a heavier duty liquid adhesive on the back of those if you're concerned about it. You could even die cut those out with some clear double-sided adhesive tape on the back, and that would just turn them into a sticker and make it really easy to do. Now the chain I'm adding to the little watch fob, I guess, at the top. I don't know. And I've got 6mm clear double-sided adhesive tape on the back of the solid watch, and then I'll use a little Zig 2A glue pen on the chain, and I will adhere that down into the lower left. And as you can see, I'm trying to keep a lot of those colored galaxies so you can see them, and it's also working as a nice backdrop for the make time for you, so you can read it. And then my little solid punched shapes here, I'm adhering down with the Zig 2A glue pen as well. which those work just fine. So I'm not sure what the difference was between those and the letters. But once I get that all in place and it dries, that is the completed card. And I thought it was really kind of cool. Like that die set it's large, obviously, which is why I had to make a 5x7 card, but that's fine. It's a cool size. And I just thought it was a really fun die set for like a Father's Day card combined with a more masculine galaxy background. So hopefully I've inspired you a little to try out making some galaxies with some distress resist spray and distress inks, and then try out that die set because that is really cool and kind of versatile. It could be used for a bunch of different things. So thanks so much for watching. As always, supplies are linked in the video description and over on my blog, as well as the Elizabeth Craft Designs blog today. Here are 2 more videos I've done in the past for Elizabeth Craft Designs. You can check those out. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, and I love it when I get comments, so leave me a comment. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do that. That would make me so happy. And I hope you're going to have a really fantastic day.